companies move very quickly. I've a couple of examples here. RWE and Westphalia Agricultural Association signed a cooperation agreement for biogas. RE Power Systems and RWE signed a framework agreement on the supply of 250 offshore wind energy units for the Nordea 1 project. What key lessons do you think you can share with other energy companies who are having to or are looking at making these sort of similar steps?
Well, I think the winners going forward in any business sector are always those that can be fairly innovative and move quite quickly. Because we were a little later than most of our competitors in getting into large volume renewables, we had to make some fairly bold moves fairly quickly. A typical example was actually forming a framework/partnership agreement with one of the major wind turbine manufacturers globally, RWE Power Systems, and we secured a contract with them for up to 250 either 5 megawatt or 6 megawatt turbines that we could deploy in a range of offshore projects around Europe. We commit to that contract with terms and conditions that we can live with, so that we can have that flexibility and flight of foot, if you like, so that we can be flexible when projects come to fruition.
What metrics are you using to ensure that knowledge stays within the company?
Well, it would be very easy to be precious about the intellectual property that you create. And sure, some of the intellectual property regarding the commerciality of any particular project we have to be a little sensitive on. But it's in our interest to share information about how we maintain our assets, how we benchmark our assets, how do we know that we're actually the best or close to the top or close to the bottom of something that we do without sharing that information. So we're actually very active and not that precious about sharing the basic concepts of good practice, things like health and safety initiatives, things like operation and maintenance philosophy.
From 2010, of course, thousands of UK companies are going to have to publish their emissions as part of a domestic carbon trading scheme. Do you feel that good communication of energy policies together with a sort of healthy performance in that scheme could in some way actually be a competitive advantage?
I think you're already seeing at a larger scale, utilities as an example, or the aviation industry or the automotive industry, already using their, for want of a better phrase, their carbon footprint or their sustainability impact, used very cleverly to competitive advantage. There's no reason that I can foresee why that wouldn't be just as practically applied in a smaller environment, ultimately to a very small scale. Businesses are selling themselves now, trying to differentiate themselves to actually be better at managing that aspect of their business than their next competitor. But already, there's the critical path that always follows, the euphoric, yeah, we get it, let's do something about it, and then apathy sets in and we have, this, greenwash.
For more fantastic interviews directly related to your business, be sure to explore Meet the Boss TV.